Welcome back guys to the Theory Lab, and today we're looking at diminished chords, and specifically in this lesson at something called a minor 7 flat 5, or also known as half diminished. So there lies our first complication. This same chord can be called two main things, minor 7 flat 5 and half diminished. Okay, now let's just go through what the chord is first, and then we'll start to answer why it's got these two names. Okay, so minor 7 flat 5 is the name we're going to basically go for, because I think that's the correct term and the one that makes the most sense theory wise. Okay, so we're looking at something called a minor 7 flat 5. So I'll write it all out here: minor 7 flat 5 chord, but realistically you're going to see that written like this: M7 flat 5. Okay, so that's the chord that we're looking to do here. Okay, now first of all, the good news is that when we come to do the formula for this, the reason I really like this way of writing it is because it pretty much clues it up as to what the formula is going to be, doesn't it? Without us having to do too much. Okay, if I just said to you half diminished, that's got no instruction in it at all. That's kind of, you've really got to just flat out remember what that is. Okay, but with this you've got clues. Okay, so let's just have a look. A minor 7 flat 5, in terms of its construction, is root flat third 5. Okay, so let's just start there. Okay, here's how I'm thinking about this as I go through it. Okay, I've just literally done minor. Okay, root flat third 5. That's a minor chord. Okay, I know that for a fact. Okay, let's now add the second part of this, minor 7. Okay, so we know that a minor 7th chord, so a 7th, has got a flattened 7th on the end there as well. So that's that first half of the chord. Okay, now what else have we got? Well, we've also got to flatten the 5. Okay, so the reason I put the minor chord in there first was because I'm doing this in order. Okay, and now my second half of this chord has given me an instruction. It said, well, actually, hang on a second, we actually want to flatten this 5. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, flatten the 5. Okay, and there we have it. That is the formula for a minor 7 flat 5, also known as, and I'm going to put this in red because I don't really like it being called this, but it is a half diminished. Okay, so let's just write that in there. That's the same chord. If you see it online, that's exactly the same chord as a minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so we've got root, flat third, flat fifth, flat 7. Okay, and that is probably your most, when you're looking at the two different types of 7th diminished chords, and we'll look at the second one next time, this is the one that's going to fit perfectly into the harmonized key, the diatonic scale. So because of that, this is probably the most common one used in, certainly in jazz music, and you'll also see it in blues and rock and various other genres, but it gets used a little more because it fits perfectly into the key. Okay, so your first task here, guys, is to take this, and now we're going to apply it to E major. Okay, so we want to find an E minor 7 flat 5, right? So let's just come over here and let's do exactly that. So that would be written, if I wanted to find an E minor 7 flat 5, it would be written like this: E M7 flat 5. How about that, eh? What a fancy looking chord. That is a good one. If you come across that and you're trying to read off a chord chart, this is going to scare the life out of you when you see that, but only until you realize it's actually quite simple. E minor 7 flat 5 is going to be the root of E, then we've got the third flattened, so that will be a G. Okay, then we've got the fifth flattened, so that will be a B flat, and then finally we've got the 7 flattened, so that will be a D, and there you have your E minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so try and put these 4 notes on the guitar and have a listen to what they sound like. Again, I know it's kind of hard to listen to. You know, if you're there and you're playing through it, if not, just pause the video for a second, get it onto the guitar so you can listen to this, because it is a hard thing to listen to. But compared to a basic diminished chord, this is actually quite pretty. You know, by adding that 7th, just like you do with the minor 7, you know, it kind of just relaxes the chord a little bit. gives it something a little easier to listen to. So compared to a basic E diminished chord, the E minor 7 flat 5 is actually quite nice, but it's still not very nice, if you see what I mean, okay? But I'm going to let you guys make your own mind up about what you hear when you hear these chords. And like I say, if you're a massive fan of jazz, then you're probably actually going to find that quite familiar, because you're going to have heard that a lot, okay? So get that together, and in the next lesson, we're going to be looking at a different type of diminished 7th chord.